Okay, so 7:03 p.m. Welcome everyone to the City of Los Angeles Bicycle Advisory Committee. I guess with Kent not here, I'll call the roll. So the mayor, just in order from what's on the agenda, the mayoral appointees. Henny.
Henny will be 10 minutes late.
Okay. And when folks come in,
Hi, Janice.
if I get past it, so okay.
We definitely got
second,
quorum. Okay.
Second, Glenn Bailey, I'm here. Karen.
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. CD, now we're gonna, I'm sorry, and Eli Kaufman.
He's not
Eli?
here. Not here.
Okay. All right, now we're gonna go through the council district appointees, the representatives first in order, numerical order. CD1, Jennifer.
Here.
CD2, Ron.
He was here. There he is. He's up there muted.
Okay, we'll say Ron's here. CD3, Janice.
Here.
Thank you. CD4, Tyler.
Here.
Okay, and we're gonna do a welcome for you and Curtis in just a minute. CD5, Taylor.
Here.
Thank you. CD6, Carino.
Here.
Thank you. CD7, John.
He just tuned in. John
Okay,
Lowy.
we'll
Yeah.
give him a minute to, okay, CD8, Aubrey.
I don't see him.
CD9, Ade.
I don't see him.
CD10 is vacant. CD11, Kent will be here. CD12, Mike.
He's here.
I'm here, Mike.
Thank you.
CD12.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, CD12. CD13 is vacant. CD14 is vacant. CD15, John.
John.
That's CD15.
No,
Oh, sorry, John Jones. John
he's
Jones.
not here. I
Okay.
wrote to all. I sent.
Okay, so
emails to
before we
all.
go, Jennifer,
Okay.
please, let me take roll.
Okay.
Before I start with the alternates, I want to go back to CD7, John Lowry. Sorry, I forgot we
I'm
had
here.
two Johns.
Yeah.
John's
I am.
here. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're going to go to alternates. CD4, Curtis.
I'm here.
Okay, and you'll get a welcome in just a minute. CD5, Michael.
Here.
Michael Snyder. Okay. CD11, Rob. I don't see Rob. Okay, could use him now. Okay, so I'd like at this opportunity, we have several new members, a few new members, and I'd like to welcome and have them introduce themselves to everyone. Just give us a little bit of idea of your background, both in terms of personally areas that you live, you're familiar with, your bicycle related activities, etc. Anything that could be helpful just for us to be aware of as we work forward on the different things that the Bicycle Advisory Committee does. So I'll start with CD4, Tyler Lambert Perkins. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really excited to be here. So I have lived in LA now for about 6 years, and I moved here from Boston. In the last maybe 3 years, I've become involved in Mid-City West Neighborhood Council, Miracle Mile Resident Association, and really just trying to like get more involved in my community. I live in Miracle Mile, and I've been biking for years. In Boston, it was my primary and truly only mode of transportation, even through the winter. And in the time that I was there, I saw the city transform from a pretty unsafe place to ride to something that's become incredibly pleasant and very safe. And I with seeing that happen in such a short amount of time, it gives me hope that cities, when they choose to, can actually accomplish something. So I am active and hoping that we can spur the same sort of change here in Los Angeles.
All right, thank you very much. We've been working on it, but I hope it's you perceive it to be faster than some of us who've been around a while. So next we'll go to CD4 alternate Curtis Graham.
Yeah, I'm Curtis Graham. I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for about 40 years. I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up in Woodland Hills. I went to El Camino Real High School, which was then brand new. I now live in Sherman Oaks. I started out riding bikes when I was about 4 years old on a tricycle. I've been involved in biking and biking community stuff for, I don't know, 20, 30 years, riding in the streets. I tried the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council. I found it to be slow and out of focus. And so I applied to be on the BAC because I was hoping to get onto something that was a little bit more robust, more focused, and more assertive in its place in the city. And I'm Tyler's alternate.
Okay, welcome to you both. Just as a reminder to everyone, the representative is the voting member, and the alternate takes the place of the representative when they're absent, or if the representative defers to them because there's an issue, something like that. So it's pretty clear cut. If the representative is absent, the alternate's here. That's they're seated in their place. If they're both here, just know it's the representative who is making motions, voting. However, alternates may fully participate, raise hand, fully participate in the discussion, debate, etc. It's not like you're like a public person. Although in Zoom, we're all here on the same screen. So thank you very much. Since Kent is not here, I think I would like to just pass on the minutes until he joins us, if that's okay. And for item number 3, yes, Michael.
Glenn, did you get the email I sent you earlier today?
I actually got back just before this meeting.
No problem. I'm really under the weather. I wanted to be here because I have 5 motions on the agenda and want to just not be here for them, but I'm really under the weather and want to sign off as soon as possible. I was going to ask for an unusual request, which is if we could skip the Streets for All update and just power through the relevant motions that I need to be here for, and then I would love to sign off if that's possible and everyone would allow it.
Okay, since you have your rep here, you may, if you want to come back later, but I've got several requests from guest speakers to accommodate their schedules as well. So I have you down for the one motion. The others are incorporated with, even though you submitted the information, I have you down for the Sunset Boulevard under Streets for All. The rest are under different parts of the agenda.
I drafted 5 motions, but if you just
I know.
if you just want me to speak to the Sunset one, that's fine. I just need to sign off really as soon as possible.
Okay. Well, we've got some guest speakers, and so I mean, if you want to do the Sunset one, well, first of all, I'm going to get through the administrative items, and then we can consider that because this will go relatively quickly. Because I'm going to make a couple suggestions. So number 3 is redistricting of city council districts. The city council approved the redistricting maps today, and I put the council file on the agenda. This could potentially impact our council appointees. And so if you haven't been following the redistricting, I would ask if you would please look and see how the new boundary lines of your council district will look. And if you find that you're no longer in the council district that you're appointed to, it doesn't mean that you cannot continue on the BAC. What it does mean is the council member needs to be informed, and it'll be up to the council member to as to how to proceed on that. These changes go into effect, I believe it's January 1st. If not the 1st, then January 8th. Or January 7th, based on when the ordinance effective date is. But anyway, it's coming. So most of the districts are pretty similar, but like CD4 has changed quite a bit. So please just take a look for your particular district. I don't think that Jennifer and I can do it for the whole BAC. So we're going to rely on each of you council appointees to become familiar. And you should do that anyway, because you are representing the council district, right? The current one and then the new one, you are representing the boundaries within those areas. So
Thank you, Glenn. I did talk to Ron about that, and we have new people. Henriette's here from the mayoral appointee list. And Kent is here, but he's got my name on his, you better change my name if you can.
okay,
Yeah.
we've already done roll call. Henny, welcome, Kent. I'll rename you. Does anyone have any questions on the redistricting item? Ron,
I'm sorry, can you just,
are you raising your hand?
The only thing I'm going to say is I did send out a email earlier today that does have a picture of the map included in the article from the for breaking news. And so I would tell everyone to take a look at it. I sent it out at around 3 o'clock today.
Okay, so sometimes it's important to know where the actual streets are, and that's why I put the link to the actual council files so that you have the actual, you can dive down to exact street by street detail if you need to, if it's not major streets, because some of these are alleys, you know, and residential streets. Anything else on redistricting? Okay. Kent, we skipped over the minutes until you arrived, so I'd like to go back to that. If you're ready. Kent, you're muted. Okay, go ahead.
So I emailed out the minutes. Presumably you all got them. Make a motion for approval.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Hey, Ron, I saw
Ron
your hand,
Meyer
Jennifer, but
seconds.
I heard Ron speak up. Any corrections or additions? If you weren't at the meeting, you can abstain or you can vote. You know, it's up to you. There's no rule on that specifically. Any additions or corrections? Just going forward, just know that once Kent sends them out, you're welcome to communicate any comments to him right away before the meeting, because he can then work it out before the meeting. Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes, raise your hand, say aye. If you're on camera, if you're not on camera, I guess, yeah, the raised hand is good. So let me do a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, those opposed? So Tyler, let's see, Tyler, I'm not sure if I include you in it. Those opposed? John, okay. John, your hand is raised. Are you opposed? You're muted.
In favor of it. That's why I raised my hand to be in favor of it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it doesn't look like anyone's opposed. Any abstentions? Raise your hand. All right. Karen, Carino. Anyone else? Okay. Looks like 2. So it looks like the vote is 9-0-2. Kent, hopefully that's close to what you've got. They pass.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. All right. Number 4, review membership of each BAC subcommittee. So because we do have some requests,
Turn this down, you know?
John, I'm going to mute John. Folks, raise your hand if you wanted to be recognized. Thank you. And keep yourself muted so you're recognized. Item number 4, review membership of each BAC subcommittee. Because we've had some requests for accommodating guest speakers as well as BAC members, I'm going to ask if we can hold that to later on in the meeting, because it will take some, it's important, but I think it's going to take some time to go through each of our 3 subcommittees and the membership. So if there's no objection to do that, I'll just, someone help remind me that we're holding that till later. Okay. The BAC website and social media updates. So I do want to acknowledge the efforts for Carino and Henny and anyone else who's helping out with the website. There was some communications, and I really need to keep this really brief, like 30 seconds. If anyone would like to give any update or comments regarding website or social media, please raise your hand. And I would start with Carino or Henny since they're the point people on this. Yes, Carino, please go ahead.
Thanks for letting me speak. I just sent an email to Glenn and Jennifer that probably beginning of next year, I'm gonna go for a long trip and I'll be gone for probably more than 3 months. So been pretty much updating the website. So I think me and Henny are going to go over what needs to be taken, because I'm also posting the Instagram as well too. So basically I've been updating the website and getting some of the information from other, I guess, board members or someone in relationship with the links and resources. But we could talk it later with Henny. So thank you.
Okay, and thank you, Henny, for helping out during that period and before the period and probably after the period. So we appreciate that. Any other comments on website or social media? Carino, I appreciate your letting everyone know, and stay safe on your, I know you're going to be in a different country, so stay safe. Okay, so let's move to public comment. This is for non-board members, non-BAC members, general public, for items that are not on the agenda, because if it's on the agenda, we'll allow public comment for those particular items. So if you have public comment for non-agenda items, please use the raised hand feature on your screen, or if you're on the phone, the *9. Any public comment? I'm not seeing any raised hands. Going once. I know sometimes it takes a while to hit those buttons. Going twice. Okay, going. All right, we'll close public hearing. We can accommodate it at the end of the meeting if we miss someone. Okay, so we have 2 presentations, and we appreciate both LA Department of Transportation and Streets LA, formerly known as Bureau of Street Services, being here today. So Tam Nguyen is representing LA Department of Transportation. So Tam, you're listed first on the agenda, and if Streets LA is okay, my understanding your presentation is about 5 minutes. Is that correct?
4 slides.
Sorry, the first part was, you were not hearing you. Now you're muted. Where did she go? Now I'm not seeing Tam. Okay, she may have had an internet connectivity problem. So we'll get back to Tam. Sorry about that. So let's then go to Streets LA. So Jaime Munoz and Karen Azurs, if I have Anzurs, Sunil Rajpal.
Yes.
Is there anyone else from your team here?
Craig Shaw.
Craig Shaw, great. Okay. So who wants to get started? And first of all, how much time do you need for your presentation?
I think 5 minutes. Jaime, I think 5 minutes we are okay. Then we are open for question answering.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we do have a packed agenda. And I do want to acknowledge that we did have Streets LA at our August meeting where you discussed the prioritization of the work for bike lanes. So this is an update on that and anything else that's come up, which includes a new LA municipal code. So carry on.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Jaime, yes. So good afternoon. First, thank you for inviting us. This is a continuation of the bike lane repair and maintenance program engineering criteria and progress update. We are here with the Craig Shaw. He's the program manager for the Streets Maintenance Division. He's the program manager for implementation group. Michael cannot here, and Jaime and I and the Karen, we are from Engineering Services Division. So just to little bit brief background on the project. Jaime, next slide, please. So this is Streets LA work with the other city department, including LA DOT, to lobby for this program. So finally, we are able to secure $4.15 million budget for this program. It's a one-for-one fiscal year, 21-22, part of the SP fund. And like we mentioned in August, the goal was to maximize these resources so we can go back to during the March, April, back to the City Hall and ask for additional funding. And this is information, this slide is just like the recap of the last one, that our Streets LA team members under the leadership of the Craig, they inspect almost over 5,000 locations, 5,500 to be accurate one. And these percentage translate on the poor segment, we are talking about 909 location. This $4 million is not enough for 900 location. So the goal is that at least we do something, provide some, and when some data-driven approach back to the City Hall and explain to them, lobby for this funding with the help of your support, that 4 million reach us to here, we need additional 4 million or 5 million or 3 million to keep continuing this program. Next slide. So from this point, I will request Jaime to just go through the presentation and then we will open for any question answer.
All right. Thank you, Sunil. So on this slide, we have bike lane segments that have been completed in the month of October. This segment is in Council District 12 on Devonshire Street between DeSoto Avenue and Oklahoma Avenue. On the right side of the slide, we have the two-tier system we use to evaluate the bike lanes. So tier 1 is a field assessment that evaluates the road conditions of the bike lanes, and it is the qualifier to advance to the next tier. And the tier 2, it's a database criteria that evaluates safety, takes into account service calls, safety reports, and trip generating locations such as schools, parks, metro connectors. Throughout the presentation, we will have the different categories that are assigned to the different tiers. Next slide. So this slide shows another recently completed segment using the two-tier evaluation process. This segment is in Council District 8 on Century Boulevard between South Broadway to South Spring Street. When we evaluate this location, some of the factors that were analyzed were proximity to schools and parks, a high number of traffic incidents reports, and multiple service requests for this segment. On the bottom right of the slide, we have the 3 categories that are part of the tier 1 assessment. These categories are all field assessed. Next slide. So here we have the different categories that are part of the tier 2 criteria. All these categories are evaluated by data that we have been able to collect when we partnered up with the different departments such as LA DOT and LA City Attorney at the beginning of this project. All the street segments are evaluated based on these categories. Next slide. This slide shows another recent completed segment using the two-tier evaluations process. This segment is in Council District 14 on First Street between Savannah Street and Saratoga Street. When we evaluate this location, some of the factors that were analyzed were proximity to schools and parks, high number of traffic incident reports, and multiple service requests for this segment. Next slide. So here's the information for our team. You could contact myself or Sunil if you have any comments, suggestions. Next slide. Now we could answer any questions the committee has.
Thank you. Thank you. So use the raised hand feature because I'm looking at participant lists and that puts folks in the order in which their hands are raised. Karen, I see you're first, but hold on just a second. How often would you be able to provide updates to the BAC? And it doesn't have to be coming to a meeting. It can be a written report. Have you thought about that?
We are okay. I mean, we can provide quarterly too, and this is like everything need to be completed by end of this fiscal year. So we can provide next one. I believe you have a meeting in February. We can provide an email in written what's the status update is.
Yeah, prior to February would be fantastic. Okay, thanks. Okay. Yeah, we can agendize it, but we don't need to, do a full presentation. Okay, Karen, go ahead.
Oh, I'm happy to hear about this and wondering about the best ways. Is this something that we should be using My 311 to report, or I'm particularly interested in Venice Boulevard near Crenshaw, where it's just really, really super rough. And do we report that in some way to bring it to attention?
Hi, this is Craig. You can always report, even through our emails, any of the locations that you think are of particular interest. It may not fall in this criteria. However, we do have dedicated bike lane maintenance and cleaning crews that are looking at these lanes every day. So if they're missing something, particularly at Venice and Crenshaw, I'm very familiar with that particular biking lane. We can have someone take a look and see what we can do in an interim if it's not a full repair, if there's some other things that we need to do to improve the rideability.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you're probably familiar with the chunks of concrete that don't line up. So I think little strips of asphalt have been put in, but it's still just a super rough ride. And I usually have to go into the traffic lane there.
Okay, yeah, if you can send that directly to my email, I'll have the staff.
Okay.
Yeah, Craig, and I'll have staff look at it before the end of this week.
Thanks.
Okay, Taylor.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you. This is really wonderful. So many of the improvements are just paint and signage, and I wonder if there's a plan for any kind of temporary hardscape that would improve the safety of the buffered bike lanes and things like that.
Craig?
Yeah, no, when you on the hardscape, we actually have a crew that's dedicated. They're actually making bike lane repairs every day, actually 7 days a week, to improve the actual bike lane. So that was the 7 days a week is actually a new feature of ours. Now that we have it up and running, we actually dedicated a crew and they were making repairs every single day.
Great, thank you. What I meant by hardscape was actual physical barrier, planters or bollards or something like that to separate the protected bike lane rather than just paint. I didn't know if there was any plan for any kind of pilot or temporary use of that kind of material to augment the paint and signage. That's all.
Actually, Taylor, this funding is not covered that one. Because the magnitude of work is so much for the bike lane. So the goal is to fix the bike lane. But certainly in the future funding, we can also put some percentage of it. But at this point, because we are talking about 900 location, so the goal is to provide safety to the bike cycle, just to make sure the bike lane is clear, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Kent? Kent, I think you're next.
Yes, yes, thank you. Sunil, I noticed in the photograph examples you showed, some of the crosswalks are continental crosswalks, and one of them was an old ladder type crosswalks with the bars on the side, which it was my understanding the city's not doing those anymore. Can you explain why those are being reinstalled? Yeah, I believe you're muted.
Can we move back to that slide?
There it is.
Yes. This normally all these continental crosswalk or any crosswalk is managed by LADOT. So we normally reach out to LADOT for their field crew normally install it. So we can reach out to LADOT and see what's the update on that one is, but our bureau we normally don't take the crosswalks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Jennifer.
Hello, Sunil or Craig. I'm concerned about the trash in the bike lanes, and I did notice it's getting a lot better. Do we report that to you? I mean, Karen mentioned, certain things over on the street repair, but who do we talk to about trash?
I'll take that, Sunil. Actually, you can report that to us. You can do it through the 311, or you can send the email. We have 2 dedicated crews that's every day cleaning those bike lanes. And that's literally all they do is inspect and clean. And that's outside of our repair crew.
That's what I'm sorry, outside your.
Yeah, so we have a dedicated crew that do the repairs, and then we have 2 crews that actually do the cleaning. So, and they're separate. So.
And then when you do the cleaning, do you have special equipment that fits in the bike lanes if they're bollards? Because people are trying to stop us from, asking for bollards. And I'm wondering.
We actually have specialized motor sweepers that are designed just to fit in the bollards. Okay. So yes.
Good. That's a good point. Because people are arguing all the time about it. And okay. And then, so if we can report to you, Craig, if we see something, that would probably be the fastest way to go, right?
Or actually, the 311 is actually either or, but it's faster because they actually look at that every morning, and they have 24 hours to do the inspection. That is what the requirement is. So yes.
Okay. Well, then I'll hold them to the fire to the heat. All right.
All right. Thank you, Janice. You're muted, Janice.
Sorry. You were asking about sidewalks, and that reminded me, what about, in addition to the actual bike lanes, is your crew or are you crews responsible for streets that have sharrows markings?
Yes, for the cleaning, they are responsible for that. So all of the biking corridors that's on street, we look at those and try to make those repairs or cleaning.
Okay, so repairs as well as cleaning.
Yes.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, so I think my turn to wrap up. First of all, thank all of you for coming back. And also, if everyone wanted to take a photo of the contact info, if you haven't done so already, hopefully it's showing up full screen on your screen. And also, I was on the Devonshire segment that you reported, and I know the street painting is not, I believe that's Department of Transportation. But I'm gonna, the dotted line, the merge, looks like somebody drew it, marked it, instead of it being the outside line, they made it go towards the curb. So I know I can report that to DOT, but I think if it came from you, it'd probably get more attention, quicker attention. If there's anything I said that was incorrect, please feel free to chime in.
We can certainly look into that, and we'll make the report if there's anything's happening out there with those lines.
Okay, thank you. It's a segment east of DeSoto on the eastbound, the south side on the going eastbound. Okay. All right, so that's all the hands I see. So I want to thank you all very much for coming and giving us that update. If you could get us a report by, actually, I think our meeting is the 1st of February. So if you're able to get it the week prior to that, then we can get on the agenda and link it onto the agenda for folks to see, if that's possible.
Yes, possible. And for me, so 2 action items. One was the provide the update, and the second can comments on crosswalk, Continental Crosswalk. I will.
Okay, great. All right, thanks very much. You're welcome to stay. Our next presentation will be the LA Department of Transportation on bicycle corrals, so that may be of interest.
Yeah, a quick point. Sunil, can you send us the presentation slides?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you have my email?
Can I send it to Glenn, to you, and Glenn can distribute it?
Yep, that'd be fine.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks again.
And Glenn, you know, we got a request to move an item up by Michael.
I have a number of requests, so I'm going with the city folks. They're on overtime, and we also have the council district, a request from the council district too. So
understood.
I've got competing requests. So right now we're doing presentations. Okay, so I understand that Tam now has her sound.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
fantastic.
yay. I apologize about earlier.
Okay, Tam Nguyen's from LA Department of Transportation. She's going to be making a rather brief presentation updating regarding additional bicycle corrals. And Tam, you should be able to use the share screen.
Yes. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Great. Well, thanks again for having me tonight. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tam Nguyen, and I'm a transportation planner in the Active Transportation Division at LADOT. This presentation will be pretty quick, so I won't take up much of your time. Just some background information about the Bicycle Corral program. We've had it since 2011 or 2012, and LADOT currently maintains corrals throughout the city in collaboration with community partners that include nonprofits, small businesses, improvement associations, and others. And I'm sure most of you are aware of this, but just to briefly, refresh some memories about why bicycle corrals benefit our community. Bicycle corrals are on-street bicycle parking facilities that can accommodate up to 10 to 14 bicycles in the same area as a single vehicle parking space. So by installing bicycle parking within on-street parking spaces, the city is then making room for sidewalk activity. Corrals also act as destination attractors for local businesses and encourage people to take their local trips by biking or walking. People walking and biking to business districts or corridors tend to spend more time and money than those who drive, which then contributes to the economic vitality. Another benefit is streets get emphasized as venues for social interaction and vibrancy. So those are just some of the benefits that we get from installing bicycle corrals. And then, just to brief everyone on our expansion program that we're working on, we have grant funding to expand the bicycle corral program. So we've had pilots in the past, and then I believe also multiple rounds where we install new bicycle corrals at different locations through different funding sources. So now we have secured another grant funding to make this program even bigger. This includes funding for design and construction. And we are looking to install bicycle corrals in neighborhoods across the 15 council districts. Around 2 to 3 on-street bicycle corrals in each council district, which is equivalent to at least 360 bicycle parking spaces within the public right-of-way. This would also mean repurposing of vehicle parking spaces. It will be an anticipated trade-off for bicycle corrals. So we just want to be transparent about that. We will have to make some trade-offs for on-street bicycle corrals to happen. This project is designed to support the need for larger quantities of bicycle parking in high traffic areas to encourage travel by bike and promote mode shift. Our next steps are to start engaging with each of the council offices and to select new locations for design. And I have here just some criteria on how we picked our new locations. If you have any recommendations for locations, you can, contact me directly and I can put that on a list for review. But we do follow the guideline. So not every single location is feasible. And we hope to select our locations by the end of the fiscal year. So it would be around May or June of 2022. And that is pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions right now? I think most of you have my contact information. You can contact me directly. I will also put it into the chat box for you to have. But for questions at this moment, I'm willing to take questions.
Can you go back to that criteria slide, please?
Yep. The criteria is also listed on our website. I can also share the link to that.
Oh, yeah, great. In the chat, please.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. And we could maybe see about linking it from our website too. Taylor.
Hi, Tam. Thanks very much. This is really great. I've got two quick questions. One is there any policy to add bicycle corrals on private space? I'm thinking specifically of the Grove in CD5 and 4. The Grove has the worst bicycle parking you can imagine, and I wondered I wondered what kind of policy you have to engage with someone like Caruso and Grove to add better bicycle parking there from what they have.
Yeah, that's a good question. For this particular grant funding that we have for this particular program, the language pretty much states it's for public use. So not through this program. And if it's private, then it will have to be through, if it's the Grove property, then they would have to be the one investing in the bicycle.
But there could be one on Fairfax or something like that, right by the Grove that is on the public right of way.
If it's public right of way, we could look into that location, but it has to be public right of way.
Okay. And the second quick question was, as you're looking for new places, are you looking at areas where they have taken away street parking and put in sidewalk seating? I'm thinking of, again, in CD5, Melrose and Fairfax. There's been a lot of areas where they've taken away street parking and put in seating for the restaurants along Melrose and or Fairfax. And I think that would be a great place to add some of these bike corrals. I know it does mean taking away one more on-street parking place, but it kind of puts the idea out there that maybe you don't have to drive here, you could ride your bike here.
Yeah, previously through rounds of bicycle corral programs, the bicycle corral application is under People Street, and People Street is a program that kind of manages like the parklets. So again, like taking away a vehicle parking space to put seatings for public use. And those are usually in front of restaurants or other high traffic areas. So the concept is the same, like in those areas would be, it would make sense for us to look into those areas to look for bicycle corral locations. So yes, if Fairfax and I'm sorry, I forgot the other intersection, but if you think that Melrose is a good location for us to consider putting in a bicycle corral, please do shoot me an email and I'll put it onto the list.
Great. Tam, thank you very much.
Okay, before we go to the next raised hand, Tam, if you could just note there's a question from Philip in the chat, but Kwan, your hand's up. Kwan.
All right. I think you'd be able to hear me now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So hello, my name is Kwong. I am the Senior Transportation Planner for Active Transportation Complete Streets here at Caltrans District 7, as well as the District Bicycle and Pedestrian Coordinator. So I'd like to know, and thank you for your presentation. And so I'd like to know whether what you're working on is, are you also working on conventional bicycle racks as well, like the regular like U type that is commonly found on the sidewalks? Or is it just?
Yeah, no, we are. It's kind of in pause mode because of the pandemic. We just don't have enough resources to send people out to locations for field check. We are working on revisiting those requests that have been backlogged. So we're playing catch up, as well as hoping to have more staff on board soon to take over some of that responsibility. But it's active, it's not dead.
Okay. So then the follow-up question to that, since your team is working on that, but it's kind of in pause mode, is for state right-of-way, parts of Santa Monica Boulevard, Lincoln Boulevard, PCH, that are still, that are owned by the state and not relinquished to the city of Los Angeles. Do you guys have a process where you notify us where bike racks are needed, or would you guys just come install it within our state right of way anyway?
No, I believe that if it's a state right of way, we would definitely ask for permission. Yeah, we'll definitely double check that if it's the city's right of way or the state's right of way. So we'll definitely inform Caltrans if there are any, requests on your land.
Okay, so following up to that, I know I'm coming up with a bunch of follow-up questions. We're currently working on our PS&E, plan specifications and estimates for a project, for a resurfacing project on State Route 2, the parts that we still own of Santa Monica Boulevard. That being said, and as well as Glendale Boulevard and Alvarado, the parts that we own. Would you be able to share with us about any locations where constituents or maybe LADOT has run their analysis of where bicycle parking is needed? We would like that data if you have it.
I have a feeling that we don't have that data, but I can confirm with my team. It would be great if we could share such data with Caltrans. Do you mind giving me your contact info for a follow-up email?
Sure. Yeah, I'll provide that in the chat.
Thank you.
And thank you. That's all.
And Kwong, you are listed for under the Caltrans item if there were any updates when we get to that item, if you're able to stay. Michael S.
I was just going to ask, I heard Melrose mentioned, I have been for 2.5 years, trying to get a bike corral put in on Melrose. I can't get CD5 to approve it, even though I've gotten permission from the buildings right in front. It's not near a hydrant, doesn't block a driveway, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm assuming the answer is, unless the council office approves it, it's not possible, but I just wanted to express my frustration and also see if there's any workarounds. The neighborhood council passed a motion of support and it's been over 2 years.
Yeah, so I think I mentioned this before, when we start doing engagement, we'll definitely have to talk to the council offices about the locations. Maybe if we start saying, telling them that this location on Melrose is in need of a bicycle corral and we have funding for it, maybe it's something that they could reconsider. So
I'll send you the information, Tim, and anything you can do would be great. Thank you.
Yes, for sure.
Tam, there's a question in chat from Philip. Do you have data on the relative safety of parking a bike in the bike corral versus on the street outside of a bike corral?
That's a really good question. On the top of my head, I don't know the answer to that. Safety of parking a bike. That's something that I can definitely look into to see if we have any supporting data on that.
I assume that's referring to theft and vandalism, but Philip, if there's something else you were getting at, let us know. Okay, yeah, Tam, if you could take that back.
Sure.
Okay, any other questions for Tam? Okay, thank you for that presentation. If you haven't already sent it, please do, and we'll make sure we get it shared with folks, and appreciate that, those specifics. Let me just say that whether you're a council district appointee to this committee or not, you work within your local area and you're familiar with areas that possibly could need some additional parking, and you also know where it might work in terms of the logistics of the street configuration. Tam's email is in the chat. Okay. All right, thank you very much. So Tam, before we move on to decide what we're gonna do next, we actually have Department of Transportation next. And I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to say that maybe in addition to the subcommittee meeting that was held where we did have DOT staff. Just wanted to give you that opportunity in case you couldn't stay any longer on the meeting. Otherwise, Kent and Jennifer co-chair that committee, and they'll update the conversation that happened at that meeting. But if you have any breaking news, we'd be happy to hear it.
I don't think I have anything since the last subcommittee meeting to share.
Okay. So one thing that did happen since the last subcommittee was item number 9C, and this is just a quick announcement, I think. But DOT was very much involved in the effort for the Expo Bike Path Northvale Gap closure. And there's a council file on the agenda with a link, and that was approved by City Council on November 30th for eminent domain to acquire the additional easements to make that connection. So, and I know DOT has been the lead on that. So if anyone has any questions to reach the lead person, I'm sure Tam could help us find that, or other Kent may know. But I just wanted to let everyone know that was just an announcement and acknowledging DOT. It's been many, many years, acknowledging DOT, making that happen. I know that's just the first step. Okay. So that's a thumbs up. Okay. So now I am waiting for Council District 4, but I've also had a request from Michael. We have two Michaels on. Oh, there you are. Okay. So Council District 4 representative is here, Mehmet Barker, and this overlaps with Michael S's request. So Michael, Michael, can we do the Council District 4 items for which you did write something up, and then go to the Streets for All, or vice versa, which
I would really appreciate if we could do 19A. I need 1 or 2 minutes max, and then Taylor can handle the rest.
And yeah, I'm fine to hang out.
That was the second.
Right.
Okay, that was the second option, was Streets for All. Okay, so if there's okay, yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so we're gonna to accommodate Michael S's request. There's an action item under 19A, Streets for All update, bike box at the intersection of Sunset Boulevard and Orange Drive, and a request for a motion to oppose removal. Michael, let me get the screen share up. Okay, go ahead. You can share your screen.
I actually can't share my screen. I'm on my phone and don't have it up, but there's a link to it on the agenda. Can I just speak to it?
Go ahead and speak, and I'll see if I can. Does someone have the agenda up? Taylor, you can share if you got the agenda up. Just click on the link. Michael, go ahead.
Thank you. So I'll be very brief. The Mid-City West Neighborhood Greenway is a project that Mid-City West Neighborhood Council, working with DOT, won in 2015. It's a low-stress network. The idea is to put traffic calming elements to make biking safer. It's primarily along Rosewood. It actually goes along Rosewood all the way to the West Hollywood border, where La Cienega is. If you guys have seen the bike-only signal at La Brea, that is an element of the project. It then goes down Formosa and jogs in Alta Vista to the 3rd, goes up Formosa to Willoughby, and then goes east on Willoughby to Orange and north on Orange to Hollywood. One of the ideas being to get people to and from Hollywood and Highland on a bike safely. We're running into an issue where the bike box at Sunset and Orange is in jeopardy because the in and out doesn't want it. and they're kind of messing with the project. And the Central Hollywood Neighborhood Council has already passed a version of this. And so, would be grateful for the support. And with that, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve this. And if there's a second, we can get it on the floor. I'm happy to answer any questions.
So Taylor, are you stepping aside for Michael at this point? Taylor, I'm sorry, I can't see all the.
Yes, Glenn, I am. Sorry.
Okay, Ken, if you could note in the minutes that for this item, Taylor is deferring his position to Michael as his alternate. And Michael has made the motion. Do we have a second? I see Karen's hand. Karen,
I'll second. This is Ron.
Karen seconded. I saw her hand first. So whoever I see or hear first, that's who I go for. Okay, any questions for on the presentation? And if you're not seeing the full, so the link is on the agenda, and if you're not seeing the full screen, use that vertical bar, and you can scroll to the right and you can maximize the size. I'm not sure if you're seeing mine as not being full size. Any questions? Raise your hands. Let's also look for public comment. If there's any public comment from non-board members, raise your hands. Star 9 on the phone or raised hand on the computer. Okay, I want to deal with public comment first. Okay, well, all right, John L. You're muted.
I'm just raising my hand in support of the motion.
Okay, there was another hand raised. I'm not sure who that was. Someone else want to speak? Okay, so we'll go ahead and take a vote then, because I called for public comment, didn't see any hands, public and discussion. Okay, so all those in favor. So board members, if you have your video up, then you can go ahead and say yes and raise your hand, and then I'll do no and then abstentions. If you don't have your video up, then use the raised hand option and reactions. Okay, all those in favor? So raise your hand, say aye.
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 So keep up your hands, please, so I can do a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I have 11. Henny? Let me take the no's. Anyone voting no? Everyone put your hands down. If you have your virtual hand up. Any no's? John, put your hand down. I'll do it. I've done it. Okay. I don't see no's. Any abstentions? Okay, Henny. I did not see your vote. Hello, Henny. Okay, so Kent, I think we have an 11-0-0 vote with Henny not voting.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your accommodation, Kent.
Okay.
Have a good meeting. Have a good night.
11-0-1.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Henny abstained. Kent?
10:01 then.
No, I counted, yeah, I counted the yeses. I did not count Henny. Yeah, my number of yes, 0, and then 1 abstention. Okay. And Henny, if I got, the time looks like it's only a minute ago, so I think I've got this right. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. All right, so, and sorry to be jumping around. I know that makes it really difficult for Kent doing our minutes, but I'm trying to accommodate folks' requests. So we do have an item on the agenda.
Glenn, if no comments for Streets Alive, would like to thanks everyone and happy holidays.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Thanks for being here. We very much appreciate Streets LA. You're one of the primary partners in how we
Thanks,
bicycle in
Sunil.
LA.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Mehmet. Thank you.
Hi.
Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you again.
Thanks.
Okay. So what I wanted to ask, if Kent isn't going to get too upset with me, item number 11, I put down as a request from Council District 4 because it came from Council District 4. Even though there were some submitted written up by Michael Schneider. So we do appreciate the council office contacting the BAC. I am going to take this opportunity now because I would do it later, but I might forget it and move on to other things. So this is for everybody, okay? This is for BAC members, everyone else. We do have 3 subcommittees set up that meet in the months between our full BAC meetings. And the purpose of those subcommittees is to vet and go into the details of a whole variety of issues. Anything related to bicycles in Los Angeles, they have the ability to go into detail vet with much more time than we are able to spend at these full BAC meetings. So I just want to remind everyone of that. Obviously, if it's time sensitive, if it's urgent, and it can't wait till the next cycle of our subcommittees and the full BAC, then we have always tried to accommodate on that. But I just wanted to put that out there because we had several requests that, we just had our subcommittee meetings a few weeks ago. So I just want to put that out there. So again, that's in general, has nothing to do with this item or anything else. There were just several items in that regard. So, Mehmet, is it Berker?
Yep.
Thank you for, if you'll introduce yourself. I know I'm not sure if you're the transportation deputy or district director for Council District 4. I know you're in the building that we used to meet in.
I am there.
And hopefully someday we'll be able to go back to that building and meet there. So please introduce yourself, and then we'll take each of these items one at a time because they require a separate vote.
Yeah. Hi. My name is Mehmet Berker. I'm a field deputy in the transportation aid for Council District 4 for Council Member Nithya Raman. I am here tonight to talk about 2 projects that our office is working on along with LADOT, and to make them aware of the LA Bicycle Advisory Committee. And I mean, to take a motion if you want one. I take Glenn's point about getting into the system, and next time when we have a little more time ahead of us, I'll be able to. These are kind of some fast moving projects because these are corridors that we identified in our annual resurfacing program as possibilities to implement new bicycle infrastructure facilities. So I think folks on this call may be well aware of the Streets LA resurfacing schedule and the opportunity that's offered therein to potentially get bicycle facilities. I'm not going to say for free, but because the striping is the cheapest part of a resurfacing, having a different striping plan than you had before is kind of a baked in cost. So one of the things our office did was to look at things that were on the fiscal year 21-22 list. And these are 2 that rose to the top. There have been others. There are also, unfortunately, capacity issues at DOT due to severance incentive program, which was the kind of staff attrition, et cetera, from last year's budget when things were looking really dark. So, but we're still very happy to move forward with these 2. I also take Glenn's point about taking them in order. So let's start with item 11A, which would be the Burbank Boulevard resurfacing bike gap closure. I'm happy to present or to just speak off the cuff, whichever you all prefer as a group. So Glenn, which would you
So
like?
if you have something you want to do screen share on, you have the ability to do that. And then if I could impose upon, I guess, Taylor again, if you have the agenda handy, usually Michael's good at that. So after the presentation, then we can go to the draft letter.
Okay, great, awesome. And I won't belabor the presentation. I'll try and go through it relatively fast because we have a second one and then the rest of your agenda. In Sherman Oaks, we have one project that is would be a Class 2 facility, a Class 2 painted bicycle lane gap closure from Hazeltine to Van Nuys. As folks may know, there are currently Class 2 painted bicycle lane facilities east of Hazeltine on Burbank Boulevard and west of Van Nuys on Burbank Boulevard. And there are other ones, as you can see here, on Van Nuys and on Chandler, etc., in the area. But this gap right here is the little boy in blue. This is a scheduled resurfacing from that segment. And it also just aligns to be the segment that is the gap. There are varying widths in this segment, kind of one of your typical valley streets with multiple different widths and widenings and all sorts of crazy stuff going on. There are essentially a section where bicycle lanes, Class 2, there'd be painted Class 2 bicycle lanes can be fit without any issue. Then there is a smaller section where there would need to be a reconfiguration of some kind, and DOT has identified a reconfiguration of removing the parking lane on the north side as the way to do that. So existing conditions, it's a 2-lane in each direction with a center turn lane and parking. This is the segment that's by Van Nuys to Tyrone towards the west, painted 5-foot lanes. It is kind of squeezing it in there. And Tyrone to Stansbury, you would notice that this north parking lane has been removed and converted into a bicycle lane. And then Stansbury to Hazeltine back to the typical Class 2 parking and then bicycle lane. So looking at 14 to 16 spaces from Tyrone to Calhoun, looking at a couple more from Calhoun to Stansbury. This is kind of what it looks like. This is kind of block by block. We don't need to go into it, but you can tell where the street was wide and where it wasn't, etc. And all these are apartments. They have tuck under parking. They do have on-site parking. And yeah, I mean, that's really all I'm gonna show there for that one. It's a relatively simple project, to not be too blasé about it. And you know, we are doing outreach now. We've talked to the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council Transportation Committee. We have localized outreach to do, talking to the folks on the block itself, but that is the first one. That is the Burbank Boulevard project. So I don't know, Glenn mentioned a draft letter or a draft motion. I would certainly welcome questions or that being introduced to move on to the next item.
So before we display that, let's see if there's any questions that require you to share your screen again.
Sure.
And then we can go to the text of the motion. So Taylor, you're muted.
Matt, hey, thank you very much for that. That's really great. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
You know, I asked earlier, is there any possibility of adding any kind of infrastructure besides just paint for some of these bike lanes, turtles, bollards, planters, you know, in a pilot program? I only ask because, you know, for experienced bike riders, paint is enough. But to get, you know, children and older adults and people who aren't quite as confident, a little bit of infrastructure to help differentiate the bike lane from the traffic lane is really positive. And to make these things pop, I wonder if that's at least on the table.
It's a great question. I think obviously, as I think you would well know, and folks would now well know here, if you're going to have, if you have parking, curbside parking, you're going to have a painted class 2 if you have your facility, because that's how it is. Where sections where we have red curb and we have no parking, there are possibilities to provide that protection. It's a great question. It's something to look forward to. As I think folks know, DOT kind of has the bollards and 3-foot buffer as the treatment. Long term, it's definitely something I want to make sure the standards group is looking into, and it's something I will bring up and ask as far as any possible thing. Yeah, because BSS kind of is a governing body there because it's something placed in the street. And then
Even just turtles, just little
I know.
reflector, something that makes noise if the tire hits it.
Yeah, something even like a rumble strip or something. Yeah, it's something that I'll definitely follow up on. And it's, I did kind of already ask because that I think it's Van Nuys to Sylmar, which is basically around this Ralph's, is actually on the high injury network, just that little stretch. So obviously it had to have a number of collisions in a very short little segment to pop on the high injury network. So definitely have kind of already probingly asked the Vision Zero unit about that. And we'll, if this one takes the next step forward, we'll be following up on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So I'm gonna chime in. I normally don't chime in as much on these things, but since this is in my neighborhood, and Burbank Boulevard to the east has bike lanes. This is an important gap closure, and I'm sure the reason it was never done was because of the hard decisions of removing some parking. So just getting that in for the connection, even though this street is heavily traveled because of the freeway on-ramps to the 405 freeway, both north-south, and in close proximity to the Ventura Freeway. So having this extra space, having a 5-foot or whatever space we have dedicated for cyclists, frankly, I'd love to see it all the way to Sepulveda Boulevard, but we'll worry about that later. But filling in this gap, also, it was amazing to me a number of years ago when they put bicycle lanes on Van Nuys Boulevard that actually go up to the Orange Line bike path, which makes this, important to be able to get from the lower part Burbank to go up to the Orange Line bike path and then come down. So I think this is not just your everyday project. This has got a lot of benefits, and I'm hoping it claims that street space so that someday we might be able to make a connection all the way to Sepulveda Boulevard, which would bring it closer to the LA River at some point in the connection with the Sepulveda Basin. We do have the Orange Line bike path to the north. So I think there's a lot of things going on here that I know there may be some heat, there may be some pushback. I'm glad to hear it's apartments because, they do have parking accommodated based on, the city's requirements.
Hey, let's move along on this. We got a lot of stuff on the agenda yet.
Okay, well, I'm entitled to speak too. Okay,
Yeah,
Carino's hand is up. Carino?
Am I up?
Yes.
Oh, as a person who lives in Van Nuys, I use my bike everywhere, and Burbank is not very friendly for bicyclists, just because, like Glenn said, there's a lot of people who go beyond the speed of 35. They usually go sometimes 5, 60. But I like Taylor's idea of having some reflectors, because if you go over a lane, because most of the people on the road are not paying attention on the road. They're usually on their phone or something. And I think it would be beneficial to have that. So that's all I said. And hopefully there'll be more bicycle racks along the area, especially some of the like Ralph's and the mini malls that are around there, because basically you can't find any, bike racks in that area.
That's a great comment about the bike parking at the shopping area. Thank you.
Is this wholly within the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Any other raised hands and public comment? I want to make sure I haven't missed public comment. Okay. So Taylor has indicated a draft letter here. I'm going to ask Michael going forward that he's welcome to sign these letters, but I want to add my name and Jennifer's name as the chair and the vice chair of the BAC when these things go to city officials.
I will pass that on to him, Glenn.
Okay, well, I was going to do it, but thank you. I do appreciate his efforts, though, very much. Okay, so this is the letter that would incorporate a motion to support. I think we can just take this wording: support of implementing the mobility plan of 2035. Planned bike lanes for Burbank Boulevard from Hazelton to Van Nuys. We need to add Boulevard, Hazelton Avenue to Van Nuys Boulevard during upcoming repaving. We encourage you to implement physically protected bike lanes. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't think it hurts to ask. So do we have a motion? Hold on, let me get back to the screen so I can see everyone. So Taylor, are you moving?
Yes, I'll make the motion. And
Okay.
I mean, I can make it under Michael's name, or since he's not here, my name.
No, you're back as the voting rep. That was for that previous item. Do we want to have the CD4 rep be invited to participate with this motion? Tyler? It's up to you. No pressure. I think you're muted. We can't hear you. You can raise your hand if you want to second it. Okay. Tyler raises his hand, so I'm going to make Tyler the seconder of the motion. Thank you. Okay. Any further discussion? If not, we'll take a vote. I did call for public comment. All those in favor, raise your hand, say aye, and keep your hand up till I do the count, please. You can do the virtual hand, your actual hand.
Aye.
Okay. Aye. 1, 2, keep your hands up, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's unanimous, 12-0-0. Thank you very much. That passes. Okay. Next is 11B Riverside Drive.
Great. Yes, so this is 11B. This is another resurfacing program project on Riverside Drive. I'll share the screen again. I will go faster through this one. This is from Glendale Boulevard to Los Feliz Boulevard. And there is currently, I guess technically there's, it's a bike route, but yeah, not really real facility. So going through, it's a scheduled resurfacing. Folks may be aware of the destinations that are near this location. We have, there's the adult center, the Friendship Auditorium, the soccer field, the tennis courts. There are new apartments here near the Hyperion Bridge. There's some businesses down here. There's Ricky's Fish Tacos, of course. And then there's connections to the LA River and beyond. There's the Sunny Nook Bridge, which is right here. And obviously, you can also go to Los Feliz Boulevard to get to the Baum Bridge and cross. And, long term, there is funding for a project for Glendale, swinging around here to get to the Red Car Bridge in that way. So a lot of connections here, very kind of optimal location. I don't necessarily need to belabor how crappy things are. I think folks know that, especially when you bike in this town. So the existing configuration is 2 lanes, 2 car lanes in each direction, a center turn lane, and curbside parking. We asked DOT for 3 concepts to go out and do initial outreach on, and then we're going to ask for a refined option actually very soon. And I'll go through them briefly. Concept 1 is removing 1 parking lane in 1 direction, so either on the west side or on the east side, retaining all the travel lanes, the car travel lanes. You'd get to have a protected lane one side and then a painted lane on the other side. Concept 2 is to repurpose 1 northbound travel lane. That would enable us to get parking protected bike lanes, parking protected curb running bike lanes in each direction. Although we'd maintain those 2 southbound car lanes. Concept 3 is removing a vehicle lane in each direction. Same parking protected facility, wider bike lanes and buffers, of course. I think folks on this call will know kind of the design considerations for for painted, class 4 versus class 2, et cetera. So I don't want to belabor that. I do want to I'll drop the links to the project website where you can leave comments, you can interact with a comment map, and you can review everything. And I would invite folks to do all of that, to continue to leave comment if you haven't already. And yeah, I think I'll just leave it like that, and so we can keep the ball rolling.
What's the time frame?
It depends, to be honest, and I'll be candid in that option 1 or 2 is feasible this fiscal year. Option 3 would probably not be feasible this fiscal year because the southbound vehicle volume lanes are such that LADOT is triggered by their settlement agreement to do higher levels of study, et cetera. They basically would need another 4 to 5 months, and that would push us off of this fiscal year. Option 2 is feasible this fiscal year. And to be really blunt, as of now, the resurfacing was scheduled by BSS at the end of January, and DOT can hit that timeline for option 1 or option 2, but not for option 3.
Okay, thanks. Let's see if there's any questions to clarify this. So this is the sort of thing that's a little more complicated than just some parking removal like on the previous one. So that is why we like doing these things in subcommittee, so we can really go into detail. But let's see if there's any questions. Please use the raise hand feature if you have a question.
Well, I just also want to invite everyone to submit, detailed written comments to the numbers below. Claire and her team at Active Transportation Division is going to review them, and I mean, that's a great place to put in detailed things too, but I definitely take your point.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that it can't be agendized for the January meeting, but if you're looking at a possible installation the end of January, that's
totally.
Okay. Taylor has his hand up.
I think this is great. I support it 100%. I would go for level 2. I would obviously go for level 3, but maybe sooner better. There's a bike shop south on this called Coco's Variety, which is wonderful to connect to, and it's also just west of the river bike path. So I think this is a marvelous idea. I support it 100%.
Thank you, Taylor. I think Maddie just came home and said hi, so, yeah. Okay, I see Kent.
Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I just want to point out that the letter that Michael drafted does say the BAC wishes to support the second plan, whatever it is, iteration.
Says here, concept 2.
Concept 2, yeah. So that's the one that's in the letter that we would be voting on unless we change that.
Kent, I'm sharing the screen. Does everyone see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if there's any questions, then we can go and get a motion made. Let me get back to my full screen. Any questions, clarifying questions anyone has? I am not seeing any hands, so let's, so based on this draft letter, let's see, I guess I'll invite, so is this in the new CD4 too, or is it?
It's in old and new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thanks. So I guess I would invite, I hate to put Tyler on the spot being a brand new member, but I do want to be respectful for this being a CD4 project. And if he wishes to make the motion, great. And otherwise I will see if anyone else wants to.
I would love to make the motion. I'd like to make the motion to pass the amendment as written.
Okay, moved by Tyler. Is there a second?
I would second that.
I see.
Who was that?
I saw Taylor's hand. I'm not sure if that was his voice. Okay. Can you put the letter back up, Taylor, please?
Yes.
Thanks.
Sorry. There we go.
Okay, I just want to verbal, since this is being recorded, I want to verbalize that the
Want me to
Bicycle
read it?
Advisory Committee is in support of implementing our mobility plan 2035 planned bike lanes for Riverside Drive from Glendale Boulevard to Los Feliz Boulevard during the upcoming repaving. Specifically, we are in support of Concept 2, which would remove one northbound travel lane, maintain street parking, and use the extra space to create parking protected bike lanes on both sides of the street. Okay, the motion's been moved and seconded. Same request. I want to be sure the chair and the vice chair's names gets added to these letters that go to public officials. And let's see if there's any public comment. Use the raise hand feature on your computer or on the phone, *9. And if there's any BAC members that haven't spoken that wanted to speak on this, if not, let's take a vote. Okay, so all those in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Keep your
Aye.
hands up, please. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. People are moving around. I don't know why people are moving around. Okay, I didn't see Kent before, so that's 9. Okay, so I think we have 12. 12-0-0. I think everyone voted yes. Does that match what you have, Kent?
Yes.
Okay, so that passes. Thank you very much. Let me go ahead and clear. Okay. Thank you very much for attending the meeting and making the presentation. It's very helpful. If you haven't already emailed, let's see, one of those was linked. You put the link into chat, right? What about the Burbank Boulevard one? Was that?
That doesn't have a website because it's not a lane reconfiguration. It's just a parking lane reconfiguration, a travel lane. So DOT doesn't have to do all that rigmarole. But folks can send comments directly to ladot.active@lacity.org.
I just wondered if you, we we could make an agreement not to post it on the website, but if you would be able to send the presentation just so we had it for reference,
Oh,
that would be helpful.
Presentation. Yeah, why don't I just, I can download a copy and send it to you, Glenn.
Okay. Yeah,
Sure.
that way if anyone wants it, then we can share it. But
Yeah.
the one that's linked on the website, obviously that's already public. So, okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
for that.
everybody. Happy
Yeah,
holidays.
thank you.
Good Takeoff. Thanks for
Okay,
letting me invade the meeting.
And by the way, thanks for getting CD4 represented, actively represented on this committee. It has been a number of years. It's actually been since Tom LaBonge that we haven't had. So you know the entire term of Councilmember Rue, we did not have good representation as far as attendance. So
Well, I'm,
thank you.
I'm not here to belittle anyone else, any prior offices, but
No, you don't have. I said it. So okay.
We're happy to see you.
We're happy to fill the positions. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Okay. So we've done, I wanted to jump back to number 9. However, I think that these are probably incorporated in Kent's and Jennifer's report from the subcommittee, but I just want to make sure. 9A is the City Department of Transportation, and we do have links there for the Livable Streets website. We still have a stress-free network survey, which as of the time the agenda prepared, the survey is still open. So feel free to share that if you haven't already. And then letter B is the Planning for Stress-Free Connections Central LA. And there's a link there for that. And I will just see if anyone had anything they wanted to say on these, just recognizing this, that there may be some things coming up under the subcommittee report.
No,
Wait, what?
that
Karen.
covers it.
Okay, Karen?
I was just going to add that at Ciclavia, the same guy, I can't remember his name, was talking about the upcoming stress-free street audits for South LA. So when I see the information, I'll share it for anyone else who wants to participate. It is really cool to follow Jennifer and I did the one for Central LA to go along with them, the ride along, and give feedback directly on the experience of biking on these streets that they're proposing.
Okay, thank you. If there's something that comes up that, feel free to share, and depending on the timing of that, we'll try to get that out. All right, I've already made my announcement on the Expo bike lane, so bike path, sorry, Expo bike path. So number 10 on LAPD, I do not have an update regarding LAPD at this time. So unless someone else does, we can move on to item number 12, which is a carryover from prior months regarding the LA River Master Plan. I just kept the link there for reference. I don't have anything new on that. For the LA County's Master Plan, if anyone else does, this will be a time to mention it. Okay. So then
Glenn?
Yes.
I just rode the river path from Riverside back down, from Victory back down to Riverside. It's all open. And I hope it stays open. I did see the part that LADOT is talking about over by Victory. And I almost ran into a crack. So it's a little dangerous, but it's open.
Okay, actually, I think I kept, yeah, I do have that. That's a separate item on the agenda, but
okay.
we'll put that comment on for that item later on. This is on the LA County Public Works Master Plan. Okay, number 13 is Metro. Just a reminder, there's a Public Safety Advisory Committee that meets twice a month. If you had any public safety issues as a cyclist, that would be a good group share that with, just jump in and say public comment or whatever. Just want folks to be aware of that. And there's a link on the agenda. And related to Metro, just an announcement that the fare collection resumes on January 10th for and bus entry at the front of the buses. So just wanted to put that for awareness, and that there is a discounted fare program for 6 months. The details are linked on the agenda. So I just, since some folks do bicycle and transit, just wanted for that resource to be there. So, okay. We do have item 14, which is Caltrans District 7. That just, we've had that here as a placeholder in case Quan is here, and he is here. So Quan, and I did keep the ATP survey when I did the agenda last week. It was still open, so I kept it on there. So do you have a brief update for us on anything Caltrans as it relates to within the city of Los Angeles?
Sure. So, of course, I thank you and the committee and members of the public and city officials for contributing to our survey. Yes, the survey is still open. I will say that the consultant did make their pool of data earlier, at the end of summer. However, we are still taking comments and all that because we will warehouse that, once our plan is done. So as in regards to the plan, right? Everyone wants to know. That's the big $1 million question here. That being said, we expect that the consultant will have a public draft available sometime in January. So we will circulate that to the committee, to the public, and all of our stakeholders, our partner agencies, our stakeholder groups and everything, and everyone, for them to take a look at and make public comments on that. So that is in progress. And keep in mind that our active transportation plan is a needs assessment. It is the consultant analysis of all those location-based needs, including that of those who put input into our survey. So of course, I thank you for all of your hard work and thank you for getting the word out. If you have any questions, if there's time, I can take this.
So if that comes out before January 18th, that's the date of our next subcommittee meetings. I think the co-chairs could consider if that's appropriate to have that as an agenda item for consideration. And then we could just have a consideration about agendizing a briefing at our meeting in February.
Okay.
I will leave that up to Kent and Jennifer. If it comes out after January 18th, but before the end of January, then it's possible, that we could put it on our agenda, link to it, for our full BAC meeting. But I would like to give the subcommittee an opportunity to review it first. But I also believe in giving people the links and the resources, so that they can access it. So does anyone have any questions? And thank you for attending the meeting. Appreciate it. Anyone have any? Kent?
Yeah, so we're waiting for the draft to become available then, Kwong? Is that right?
And I anticipate it probably towards the end of January.
Yeah.
Could be February, but I'm thinking at least at the earliest the end of January.
Okay, how will we know when that goes out?
We'll let you know.
Okay.
You got a mailing list. I think
Okay.
you are. Because I think I've previously, when we've had stakeholder workshops, I believe we may have informed you guys about it.
So anybody who's commented as well will be on that mailing list to receive notice?
Yeah, because if you previously placed pins in the comments, we have those email addresses, so we can send it out.
And then what's the turnaround time once the draft comes out? What's the window of time that they'll be dealing with the draft?
The consultant, I'm thinking that the final plan may become available sometime during the spring. But, don't quote me on that. It just depends on the consultant workload and progress.
So it's kind of a narrow window, at least for us, because we only meet once every 2 months. So it may be, well, certainly we can get it out to people. People can individually comment as well.
Yes.
So, okay. All right, well, keep us posted and we'll see how that timing works out. If nothing else, as soon as we have the link, we can certainly share that.
Thank you.
Okay, any other hands? Okay, thanks again for being here.
Okay, I'll log off now unless anyone has any other questions.
Yeah, thank you, thanks, and please keep us posted. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
By the way, if you still want to make comment, the link's on our agenda, and that would be a way you get notified. So anything that's state highway related, and this doesn't even have to be in the city of LA, actually. So just District 7 or anywhere. I only check District 7 though. Okay,
Right, yeah.
thank you very much. Okay. All right, that takes us down to item number 15, which is our subcommittee reports. And the first one is our advocacy and education. And Ron is the chair. Ron, if you want to give us a report on your November 2nd meeting, and then I put down what I believe is your next meeting, January 4th, on the agenda. You're muted.
Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate that. Before I get into what we did in the last meeting, I did send out 2 emails today. One was about the redistricting. And so hopefully all of you have had time to take a look at it and see if it's so complicated to read. And now I see why Glenn sent out the instructions. But at least you can see if you're still in the same district. If you're not, would you please let me know so I can redo the membership appointee charts, who belongs where. Also, I did send out an article that I just came across. I had no idea just a few minutes before the meeting about, and I think this is more important than anything else, is the title of the article in the LA Times today was a battery assist for e-bikes and tax credit proposal. And the bottom line is that they will give you $900 to buy an e-bike because they consider it as important as subsidizing electric cars. I think we need to have a major discussion about this somewhere or in the committee. Maybe I'll do that in January. I personally feel, but if no one else agrees with me, I'll shut up. But I think we need to be working with other groups out there who are into active transportation, and e-bikes aren't going away. And I don't think they're a fad. And I think they have a very serious positive effect on our city as far as commuting and getting around. Does anyone have a comment about that?
Yeah, Ron, who's the they that is proposing this?
Well, it's not even proposed. It was passed, or a tax credit proposal. This is part of the US government. Read the article. And that will tell you what it's all about. But they're proposing that we get credits for buying,
Yeah, I did see a link in your email to that.
You did or
article.
did not?
Did not. I was looking for it.
Let me just take a quick look here. And you're right. Dumbass, I am. All
Was it
right.
today's LA Times?
Yeah, I'll resend it. I was rushing to get it done and I got all excited about it. And then, okay, I'm disappointed. Okay, I'll send it out as soon as I'm done.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, but if you put in the title that I put in, you'll find it. In the meeting that we had the other day, some of the topics that came up, some of the things that we need to talk about is, does everyone think it's okay that if we have people attending our meetings that we put their names automatically into the NSLA list for the city of LA so they get notifications of our meetings?
I think you need to ask for permission to.
So if I put it as a disclosure on the attendance sheet, do you think that would work?
So that means they have to opt out?
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable. I wouldn't be comfortable. Yeah, I mean, with your committee, I would be comfortable, but you know, just in general, I think that might be a little.
So with regards to the BAC, I have the link at the top of our agenda. It's very easy. Once someone gets our agenda, all they have to do is click the link and they can subscribe. So, but if you have someone, if someone says, yeah, add me, you can go ahead and add it if they say, go ahead and add.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
on the
let's-
attendance sheet then,
so-
how about
so-
me putting on each line that someone fills in the information, is something to the effect of, hey, is it okay for us to add your name to our alert system? Would that make everybody happy or more comfortable?
Yep.
As long as they have to take action to say, yes, please.
Yeah,
you know.
it would be a yes, no answer. They can circle one or the other. How's that? That's okay. Hey, I'm not sure. I always say yes to everything, but this is cool. That's fine. We can do it. Some of the other things are, we need some suggestions for our website landing page to make it more robust, to capture eyeballs and keep them there longer, and also to click to other things on our website. And so I would like at our next meeting, for everyone who wants to attend, to bring in suggestions on how to make our landing page, which is the first page that anyone sees when they go to our website. Topics. And there's Carino telling me something, but that's okay. That he's in charge when he comes back. We also, we're talking about partnering with other groups in LA. We've talked about this for a long time, but I still see things changing out there as far as who's in charge, who has money. We don't, they do. We need, do we need to reinvent the wheel? Can we just team up with someone? That's something that we talked about, and I would like our group to come to some definitive agreement in which direction we should be going. Talking about it all is fine. We need to get some things done. We also discussed some of the different bike projects. We need to improve our relationships with the city. We need to really get into our districts, and now that they're all changing again, I feel that we need to go back and just like we had the presentation from the traffic deputy in the office. Those are the types of people we need to talk to, because traffic out there sucks. I even got hit by a car the other day and flew over the guy's hood. And when I stood there and watched what had happened, it's just a badly designed intersection. And laugh at this as you will, half hour later, almost the same thing again, because I came back through the intersection, because it's a blind intersection where people like to jackrabbit out when the light changes. And
Okay,
we need
Ron,
to have
Ron, I'm sorry, but this is your time to report on your
well,
committee,
this is part
okay?
of this is part
Okay.
of the bright, and so some
I
of
know,
this
but this
becomes-
didn't happen. You said this just happened, and your committee meeting was beginning in November. So I'm asking if you just give us a report on what your committee did
Okay, I'm done.
at your last meeting,
I'm done.
okay?
I'm done.
Okay,
I'm done.
so we have 3 hands that have been raised on your report. So first up is Jennifer.
Yeah, hi, Ron, or Glenn, maybe, regarding these district boundaries, how do we deal with it? If let's say we're no longer, Ron, are you no longer?
So let me, I was gonna comment on that.
Okay.
As I said at the beginning of the meeting on the redistricting item, you are still the appointee for
Yeah.
your council member. You need to check the map and see if your status has changed, and then contact your office. But until the council member has affirmatively made a change, you are still the appointee. And you do not change just because the districts got changed. You change because the appointing person has made a change. Okay?
Okay, good.
And can we find the map
Well,
through the
thank you.
council file?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, actually, it's the legal descriptions, but there are some maps. There are some maps there too. It's
Click on the first one and you'll get the file. And then there's a picture of the actual council districts, a map, and then you go down a little bit more and then you click on exactly what Glenn's talking about, track by track, corner by corner of what is in what constitutes that district.
but be sure you use the newest ones, because the first thing in that council file was what the redistricting commission sent to city council, which got changed in some cases pretty significantly.
Well, okay, let's define that. What I said by the first one, that would be actually the most recent one at the
Correct.
top. At
Correct.
the top.
Correct.
The first one you see, that's the one.
Okay.
Okay.
So Jennifer, is that all?
Yeah.
Okay, Carino?
I sent something to everybody about that tax credit for the e-bikes. Explaining what it entails. Also, I wanted to see if we could bring this issue. I don't know if anybody has been looking at the LA Times, but there was an article about the injustice about bicyclists being pulled over by the sheriff's department. You
Yes.
know, especially with being Latino, being the majority in East LA. I would like to see if this board would be interested in addressing this, because I think this is as much important as having bike lanes, because we shouldn't criminalize people, riding on the sidewalks and everything. And I think we could use what was it, the Bicycle Bill of Rights as part of that. I think Adi Neff was an article about him where he literally gets pulled over, while he was riding the bike during the Watts riots.
Whoa.
So, and he's also part of the People for Mobility Justice, which he's part of the board, I guess. So I'd like to see if this committee would address that. And, I think this is probably as important as anything.
So maybe Ron could put that on his next advocacy agenda.
Just as a side note, Carino, I saw in the LA Times, I think yesterday, did you see that? Where there was an editorial, or how far back are you talking about?
Well, it's back in November, but there's a lot of podcasts and discussion about it.
Okay.
In the Times itself.
Right,
Carino-
yeah, but there was a resolution the other day, but I'll go try to see if I can find it.
Carino, can you clarify, is that the county sheriffs are doing something in the city of LA?
Well,
No.
It's in East LA, and also I think they also involved West Hollywood. Sort of the data that the report was.
Okay.
And most specifically in East LA, because I guess the sheriff department is part of our city. Is that correct?
Well,
No.
that's why I wanted to get clarification that the county sheriff, so LAPD patrols the city of LA. The county sheriff patrols unincorporated or local cities other than Los Angeles that contract with the sheriff for law enforcement. So that makes sense. West Hollywood. It makes sense East LA for unincorporated areas of East LA, but the incorporated part of East LA is going to be LAPD. So but however, the sheriff has in the past had jurisdiction over they've been contracted to provide enforcement on the metro subways and and light rail. And I had a encounter with them at one of the stations. So I do know that sheriff has activity in the LA City in the past, but since that time, Metro had given that enforcement to LAPD, the contract to LAPD, but that can change back and forth. So anyway, I think if the thing so far, I believe the things you're mentioning are not happening in the city of Los Angeles. But if you want to look into that further or work with Ron to look into that further and let us know if there's anything that sheriff's involved with in the city of LA, because that is what our jurisdiction is.
Can I say a little bit? A while back, the Van Nuys Neighborhood Council did a debate with the sheriff's department, and we had what was it, Tanaka and McConnell spoke on it, but I assume that they covers much of LA, including the city of LA.
Well, that's why I'm asking you to clarify, because that's not my understanding, is that we've got 21 police divisions covering every square inch of the city of LA. So let's check into that, before, because it may not be under our purview. You might be able to need to work with the LA County Bicycle Coalition or some other advocacy group.
Or the city attorney.
Again, if they're not doing anything in the city of LA, the city attorney wouldn't be involved.
But we would get advice from them, right?
You could ask them, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, this really, we're discussing something that's not on. I'm asking that this be agendized for the advocacy committee, but in order for it to be agendized, I just want to make sure that you're talking about something that affects the city of Los Angeles rather than something outside the city of LA. So I think, Carino, if you would work with Ron on that, you could figure that out. You could even put it on his agenda and discuss it, there. But I just don't think we have. The question is LA Sheriff have any authority or taking any of these reported discriminatory actions against cyclists in the city of LA? That's the bottom line, right?
Yep.
If it's not in the city of LA, then there's other entities that hopefully will jump in on this. But thank you for bringing it up. Mike, I see your hand up. You're muted. Go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to say, to comment on the electric bicycle, the credit for the electric bicycle. Ron, I share your enthusiasm, and I believe that we should reach out to other groups and spread the word about this credit, because just a simple credit like this can actually dramatically reduce the barrier to entry to pursuing an electric bike on the streets or on a bike trail or recreationally or for business or whatever. And the reason why I say this is because unrelated, but kind of semi-related, is with my son, we haven't been really riding, but we bought a stroller bicycle, which looks like a tricycle with a stroller on the front. And we had it shipped from Germany, and we had $1,000 credit, and that pushed us over the edge to buying it. And since he's become eligible in weight and age, we've used it to attend a holiday fair or a parade this last weekend in Chatsworth. And so just simple credits like that go a long way. So we should start strategizing about spreading the word, and also, share our enthusiasm with the public at large. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. And Ron, I would ask if you, because our other subcommittees deal with bikeways and engineering. and planning. So if you could put the redistricting matter on your advocacy committee and help sort that out for us. Although I think I've indicated the general parameters, but it only happens once every 10 years. So if you could maybe put that on your agenda and we'll see where we need to go. I don't know. I don't even know if it affects any of our BAC members, but I think that would be a good conversation to have. Okay.
Yeah, and if someone could share the link to the map, I just went to the council file and clicked on the top PDF, and it was, it was just a verbal description of it's like reading a survey with the meets and bounds and borders and track numbers, but impossible to decipher in terms of where I live in what was described. So
Yeah,
those were the maps.
there's some previous documents there.
Yeah,
but
there's several
it's a-
previous documents. If somebody knows which one has the map in it, it'd be appreciated to share the link.
And there were some tweaks, some later tweaks. So Janice?
I was just going to offer, I wonder if those of us who know that we are completely safe within new and old should just notify Ron, and that would save some investigation.
Please copy me and Jennifer as well, because
Yeah.
we're going to be wondering about that. Some of us know the details about certain parts of the city, but other parts of the city, the lines are more complicated or we're not as familiar. So that'd be helpful. So yes, Woodland Hills is still in CD3. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next subcommittee. So this is Bikeways Engineering. Jennifer, there wasn't a vote taken at the last meeting, and Taylor, I don't know if you'd still be willing to do the honors on that. The link is on the agenda, but let's turn this over to Jennifer to present, and then when she's ready, if you wouldn't mind, if you're able to.
I can't share it. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, sure, Jennifer. Sure, if you can share it, that's great. But the floor is yours, and if you want to share, that's great.
Okay, let me.
I'm doing it now.
Oh, you are? I got
Oh,
it. Is that me?
I don't know if it's you or me, but
Okay,
it's up.
well, there it is. Anyway, this has been a long process, and as everybody knows, there's been an ordinance, a council file ordinance, supporting it in a way. So should I read it, Glenn, because we're doing the recording? Should I do that? You're muted.
Yeah. How much more is there?
Nothing. It's the same as it was.
No. I mean, okay. Why don't you just go ahead? Yeah, go ahead and read it.
All right. And I'll read it from the therefore, right? Is that what I did? That's what I did the last time.
Okay.
Let's see, where is it? Oh, now, okay, so it's pretty, well,
So
anyway.
This link is on the agenda, so everyone should have been able to see it.
Can
But go ahead.
everyone see it?
We can see your screen. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion regarding the homeless encampments impact on bikeways, and I did mention the trash situation tonight, so that's a good, I have a nice answer from them. So we have the ability now to ask LA 311 to clean up the bikeways because it's part of the ordinance. And anyway, so now I'm asking everyone to agree that or to vote on this. Now, therefore, the Los Angeles Bicycle Advisory Committee suggests the following: that the mayor's office, city council, and relevant city agencies, Los Angeles Department of Transportation, LADOT, Bureau of Street Services, whom we spoke with tonight, develop policies and practices to ensure that the bike lanes and the bike paths, including the multi-use trails along the Los Angeles River, the Arroyo Seco, and the Bayona Creek, are able to be safely utilized for the purpose that they were intended, as bicycle and pedestrian transportation routes. And then the update I added was that no person shall obstruct any portion of any street or other public right-of-way open to use by motor vehicles or any portion of a bike lane, bike path, or other public right-of-way open to use by bicycles by sitting, lying, or sleeping, or by storing, using, maintaining, or placing personal property anywhere within the street, bike lane, bike path, or other public right-of-way as specified. That's the section of the council file that applies to us. And then number 2, that the agencies, BSS, the Bureau of Street Services, involved with the removal of trash and providing services for the unhoused populations, take steps to reduce the impact of encampments on bicycle and pedestrian access, so along city bikeways, as well as to encourage safety and social distancing. And this, this is language that's applying to COVID. Anyway, 3, that the city make use of federal COVID response funding for the purposes described above. 4, that a daily bicycle police patrol, I did change that to security, but because it can't kind of like that idea, but I guess you left it there, the police, right? So we'll leave police. Anyway.
So Jennifer, it needs to be clear, the motion that was approved at subcommittee is the motion that we're going to have in front of us.
Yeah, this is the one that was approved. And okay. Okay, number 4, that a daily bicycle police patrol be established and or other city employees using such vehicles as may be required be employed to report as within their capacity to mitigate conditions that could impact the safety and health of pedestrians and bicycle users. And 5, the homeless count link is updated regularly and shows mapping locations in Los Angeles and could aid with individual placement of encampments. Any discussion? Anybody want to second it?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Thank you, Kent. Discussion? Mike.
Yes, I just wanted to say that on this subject, that over the past couple months, I've been driving around the valley on various occasions and various times during the day, and I was encouraged to see about, I don't know, 4 separate times that I was just randomly driving around. I was encouraged to see that there was a crew of LA city employees cleaning up the bike lanes and encampments at different locations, and they were doing it during the daytime, and they were making sure the bike lanes were really well kept and cleaned up during getting rid of all the obstruction and everything. And these weren't necessarily huge encampments; they were just obstructing the way of the road. So I just wanted to add that in.
Awesome. Where was it? Where?
There was one part. So there was one over by Burbank Airport that I just kind of saw, and then there was on the west side of the valley. So one was on the other side, and then I saw. I kind of at 4 separate areas in the valley. I saw just driving by the same crew. That's why I recognized them. It was a trash crew, it's a street crew, and a sanitation crew, and they were all working together to clean up.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
Okay, Carino.
What?
I totally disagree with this. I don't think we should criminalize homeless. I think that some of the homeless are also bicyclists as well. And how do we know, as far as, to tell, to move away from bikes, they're going to go somewhere else, unless the city provides them shelter, which for me, I use the Orange Line bike lane almost every day to work. I travel 10 miles each way and I've experienced all the homeless in that area, especially underneath the 405 underpass, where I've seen homeless start fires, just because they're mentally sick. I mean, I think we're focusing on something that it's out of our league, because the city is doing the best it can as far as addressing the issue and also cleaning up. And each time when I pass by, once an area gets cleaned up, a week later, a pile of trash comes up, and new set of homeless. So
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. We now have the ability to report it. And we didn't have that before. And it wouldn't. And this is just our supporting the council file. That's all it is, because the council file is done. It's a done deal.
Well, I'm not supportive of it.
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
I think Carino is wrong. This is Ron. If someone's blocking the bike path, that's a hazard to me. I could actually be riding on a sidewalk and fall into the street because they have crap on the sidewalk. In turn, we as taxpayers have given the city of LA the power to spend $1 billion on housing, and these people still elect to live outside. We've provided all the things to give them a good new start, and we read good stories, but these people are making my life dangerous.
I agree.
And I'm not the only one who rides a bicycle. And Carino, I know what you're talking about underneath the freeway. It's scary, and I won't ride on the bike path under there. I go into the street because it's scary when all those
And
guys
that's not good. Yeah. That's dangerous for you.
But, they're not in the actual bike path. So, you go underneath any of the freeways and you got a mess. But I disagree. I think we need to send a message that in order for people to get out on bicycles, we need to have safe paths. Now, whether or not to make it a criminal, that's another story, and I won't go anymore.
And then Janice? Oh, Carino, oh, wait a minute, what? Oh, yeah, Janice. I see two Carino hands.
No, it's me.
Well, I see okay, Janice. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, my little screen, I tapped the wrong place. I just wanted to say I do support it. I'm also very empathetic about the homeless situation. I do not believe that by this motion that we are trying to criminalize homelessness. I think we're just trying to criminalize the behavior. And that's a very important distinction, to criminalize the behavior that is endangering cyclists and other users of the public rights of way. And then the other reason I raised my hand is I'm wondering, since earlier in this meeting, somebody referred to what was formerly called Bureau of Street Services is now called Streets LA.
Oh, that's
should
right.
that
Sorry.
language be
Yeah.
updated in this document so that it shows that we're with it, with their new language?
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Okay, I think it's fine to put both in, but officially they're still Bureau of Street Services, but they've rebranded themselves as Streets LA. But I think it's good to put them both there. Thank you.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I support this motion. I know you've done a lot of work on it, and that I think I empathize with the homeless too. But biking down the LA River bike path, there's still a lot of people that are camped along there, and it is definitely a health hazard.
We need to report it. If you see them, do that to my LA 311 if you could, John. I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to do if you're by yourself and you can't photograph really. You got to be careful.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I know.
yeah.
But I don't think this is criminalizing the homeless. It's just trying to provide safe passage through these areas.
And housing is available, not always, but it is becoming more and more available. And I believe there's a homeless shelter near Los Feliz, which is near where that huge group is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to try to find out more. Maybe Curtis. Is Curtis still here? Maybe Curtis knows more about it. If he's not, yeah, Curtis. Do you know about the river or the Los Feliz homeless shelter? Does your son know about it?
No, he doesn't know about that one.
Okay. All right.
But I'll ask.
Okay, thanks. Because that would be, I did go by it and I noticed there were a lot of fires and empty tents or empty garbage, no tents, just garbage. So
Where's it
I went,
located, Jennifer?
it's, you know, when you go Los Feliz and you go north, and you go up to that bridge that looks like a bird, looks like a, what do you call them? An egret. You know, the egret bridge? I
I'll
call
find
it
it.
the egret.
If it's in that area, I'll find it.
If you could, and then if you could photograph what you see, I've got a film of it, but it's older. It's from the
I'm coming
summer.
back.
Huh?
I know.
Anyway, it's from the summer. And so I wanted to get a more up-to-date one, which I could see the difference in that a lot of them have moved, but it hasn't been cleaned up. And there's still some tents there, not as many, John, as there were in the summer. So anyway, I think it's improving, but it's got to be fixed, you know, permanently, and people move over to the housing. And I saw other housing down in Chinatown, which they have 3 stories of shipping containers turned into homeless housing. I heard, and the supervisor for our district, Solis, her name's on it. And so I think a lot of people are being sent there, and it's right near Metro, the Metro building, and near California Drop Forge, and near Homeboys. It's right in that area. When you come in on the Gold Line, you can see this huge development, and it's all shipping containers, 3 stories, and I was told it was a homeless shelter. So I don't know how permanent it is, but that's another option. So maybe Curtis, we can figure that out too. Anyway, so can we do the vote? Any more discussion? Can we vote?
I've got my hand up and I'm not sure if
Oh,
Carino,
I can't see it. Okay, sorry.
not sure if Carino has his hand up again or if
Oh,
it's.
no, he took it down. Okay.
Okay, so I just want to say that, you know, with the passage of this new ordinance that's included in this motion, which wasn't in the previous drafts from a number of months ago, does give a tool. It specifically puts into the law with regards to bike lanes and bike paths. So we didn't have that before.
Right.
But the other thing I want to say is, despite the fact that additional housing is being built, there are more people going into homelessness than housing that's being built. So this challenge is not going to go away overnight, and it's not correct to say, oh, there's housing there for everyone. There isn't.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's right now it's a losing game of catch up.
Well, we're focused.
I know.
We're just focused on the bike lanes right now in the river.
I know, but I'm just responding to comments that were made earlier.
Okay.
That the homeless could just go, there's housing and they can go. Some of them have, but the numbers are increasing faster than the affordable housing is increasing. Just want to state that. Okay.
Well, yes. Thank you, Glenn. And we do have the option of reporting the trash in the bike lanes if we want to just look at it like that and not mention encampments at all. It's, you know, I'm not sure if you want to do that.
I've said what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we need to keep the word encampment just because it's causing the problem at this point. It's not just random trash. It's caused by an encampment. Anyway. Can we vote?
I'm sorry, did I get? So I got Jennifer made the motion. Who seconded it?
Kent second.
No, Ron did.
Oh, Ron did? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any other raised hands. Let's go. Can you stop the screen share?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do the usual vote yes, no, and then abstains. Okay, so all those in favor, and please raise your hand, say aye. And please keep your hand up. Okay, well, we count. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm seeing 9 yes.
I don't know if Tyler doesn't vote, can Curtis vote for him?
I'm abstaining.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so are we in agreement for 9 yes? Okay. Those opposed? Actually, hold on, let me clear the, Ken and John, if you could lower your hands, please.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, those opposed, raise your hand and say no.
Reno.
So I'm seeing 1 no. Okay.
The only minority.
You're not.
Can I ask for abstentions? I know we have at least 1. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, Carino, I had you down as no. Is that correct?
He took it down.
Okay, so I'm seeing 2 abstentions, Tyler and Henny. Okay, so that's 9 yes, 1 no, and 2 abstentions. So it does pass. Okay.
Thank
Do
you.
you have anything else from your subcommittee, or can we move on to the next one?
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Kent.
Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Kent, planning subcommittee. I tried my best from your minutes of your meeting to put in these major topics, but if, you know, you can reduce my pay if I'd missed something.
No, thank you. You always do an admirable job of summarizing. So I sent out.
Go ahead.
You all have received the minutes. They were sent out. It's a pretty long read. I would prefer to just go to the motion that which was the one action item we put forward for the full committee to vote on. Unless you think we need a full reading of the minutes, Glenn.
No, no. Does anyone have any question or comment regarding what Kent sent or what's listed under letter A of the agenda? If so, raise your hand and Kent will handle that. And then we can go to item B, which is the motion.
See no questions.
Okay, and maybe we could ask Taylor to assist when you're ready, Kent, to display the motion.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, Taylor, if you want to bring it up, otherwise I can grab it.
What's the number?
It's 17 B as in boy.
Yeah, I have it on my screen right. Okay, go ahead. So let me know when you have it up there. I'm someplace.
It should be up, no?
It's up.
Yep, there it is. Okay, thank you. I'm going to go to a bigger version of it. So this motion concerns the unreliability of signal sensors to detect cyclists. And there's a number of whereases that articulate the problem that they're unreliable, that we have to use them just like automobiles. When they don't work, it forces us to run a red light, puts us at risk. The sensors seem to go out of adjustment after they've been dialed in. The city will come out and service them if it's brought to their attention, but it's not a very fail-safe procedure to have to rely on reports to keep the system working as it should. So I'm going to go to the now therefore. LA Bicycle Advisory Committee requests the mayor and city council to direct the relevant city departments to address the unreliability of the city's signal systems to detect cyclists, and for them to propose methods for assuring that the city's signal systems detect cyclists with high levels of system-wide reliability and which dramatically minimize the need for complaints by the public to achieve this performance. And further, the Bicycle Advisory Committee offers to assist in this effort by further articulating the challenges, including alerts to malfunctioning signals, soliciting input from cyclists, suggesting solutions, testing improvements, and other activities as needed and feasible for our members. So that last clause that we offer to assist is optional, but it's there to, offer to be of help. So any discussion on this item?
Yeah, please raise your hand if you want to comment. This was vetted in committee. Any comments, raise your hand. Or public comment, raise your hand. We are asking if this passes, even if it doesn't pass. We are asking everyone to help out, be the eyes and ears of malfunctioning detector loops. I don't see any hands, Kent, so I guess we can
Okay, go to a vote.
But do we have a, you're moving this motion?
Yeah, I'm moving it. Can I get a second? Karen?
Yeah, Karen, I think is involved with this.
Thank
Okay,
you,
moved by
Karen.
Kent, seconded by Karen. So I think we're ready for a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand, say yes.
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
There's my hand.
10. Okay, y'all keep jumping around. All right, stay still, everyone. Don't hit anything. I'm getting 12, so it looks unanimous.
Great.
Okay, great,
Great.
thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
0-0.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let me clear the hands up so I don't get confused with who wants to speak. And Kent, I think that the next one with regards to LA River Bikeway closure update, that was carried over from last meeting, but I think that's the item that Jennifer spoke on earlier. We could put that in the minutes for this item. And just if anyone else has any updates, I know you had an update from DOT at a previous meeting on this.
Are you asking, I know it's open right now and it didn't look like anyone broke the gate It looked like the gate was opened officially. There are signs that it's dangerous, but I'm not sure what the story is. I hope no LADOT people are listening. Well, they will be. Every time we mention it, they close it, and then
Yeah.
somebody else opens it.
Okay, Kent, did you have anything to add? I think they went into great detail at your previous meeting.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm looking for the item in our agenda tonight. What number is it, Glenn, that you're?
It's letter C.
C. Oh, right. Yep. No, that what Jennifer pointed out sounds like the latest information that would update what we learned in the meeting.
Okay, and I also have John Lowry listed for this
Yeah,
item.
the bike lane, the bike path is now open. Like Jennifer said, it's anybody's guess when it'll be closed again, but it is open right now.
Okay, we'll proceed with caution.
It
Okay,
very- I mean, there is kind of, there are some problems, so you got to keep your eyes open.
well, they described the undermining, they described the, I guess, the roots, that's going to
Oh,
be
it's
an
a crack.
expensive project, so
Yeah.
repair. Okay, let's go to item D, which is just an update from the previous meeting about Mulholland Drive west of, I described it as west of Mulholland Highway because I didn't have a good description, but Janice, you can give us the update that you received or you sent.
Could I just interrupt?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Janice. Jennifer, what is the segment of the bike path that is now open? That was
From
visible?
Riverside to, from Riverside Drive south to the north of Victory Boulevard. Past Griffith Park. Or it's kind of like, Griffith, it comes into Griffith Park, but it's used to be closed at Victory, right,
Great.
John?
Great, thank you. Sorry, Janice.
No problem. I don't know whether I can screen share when I'm just on a phone, but I'm willing to try. I took some photographs. I tried to send you an email, Glenn, but you probably didn't get it.
I just saw it. Let me see.
And I didn't send any photos yet. I was just asking if I could send them, but I might try. I'm going to try something and see if I tap that screen sharing, if I can share my little photo album of some pictures of the area I'm talking about.
Okay, you're enabled to do screen share. While we're waiting for that, the next item is a Google Doc that Kent is compiling any input. So especially for the new members, if you have any projects you would like the BAC to consider for the DOT to consider, we have this Google Doc whereby you can nominate projects, and there's a bunch of different fields there where we ask for as much information as possible to help describe the project in terms of the different aspects and support and details. So that link is on the agenda. So.
Okay, so my question is, can you guys see what I have on my screen? I have a bunch of photos of roadways.
No,
is that visible to you? No.
No.
Okay, then I'm not sure I know how to do this then. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've not used a phone for it, but I do know you have to, once you see what you're seeing on the phone, you have to click the share screen.
Okay, let me, see, I can't have two things on here at once. So once I hit share content, then, okay. All righty. Well, maybe I just select some photos here. Not sure oops.
You're on a phone, Janice?
Yes.
Are you trying to do the Google Docs or the Mulholland?
No, no.
He has photos of Mulholland.
All righty. So can you see a
Can you
photo
send
now?
them? Can you send them by email too?
I will try eventually, but I'm very limited in how much I can send from my usual email account. So I can't really do that right now.
Okay.
Okay, why don't
If you want to
why-
send it, if Janet, if you want
Okay.
to send it to me, I'll send it out to everybody. Just send it to Ron at ronmeyer.info.
Yeah,
I'll do
I'll
it for
talk
you.
to you about that offline.
Okay.
So why don't you just verbalize
Yeah,
the
okay.
update?
It's not, yeah, I selected them, but it's still not showing up there. So let me cancel out of that. Okay, it's just really hard to, to explain unless you're there, but if you're on Mulholland Drive, which comes up from there's a big hill coming up from the 101 freeway. The off-ramp is Valley Circle Mulholland. So you're heading east-southeast on Mulholland, and it's 2 lanes in each direction of car traffic, and then there's bike lanes on each side. You get to the top of that hill, and it has narrowed down from 2 car lanes on each side, plus bike lanes, painted bike lanes on each side, to a very narrow passage through the top of the hill, because there's some protected land on either side, so the roadway cannot be widened. So it's down to 1 lane of car traffic each direction with Sharrows markings. The markings are kind of faint. The roadway is degraded. Somebody did recently go up. I talked to Councilmember Bloomfield's office, specifically Jeff Jacobberger, and they sent somebody out, and I think they put a sign back up that had fallen down, and they might have done a little bit of roadway repair. But there are places where there's like 2 signs together, and the one in front says no parking at any time. And then the one that's behind it that you can barely see if you're driving at any speed is the one that says bike lane ends. Even if somebody sees bike lane ends, a lot of people that are driving cars only have the attitude that if a bike lane ends, that the cyclist is supposed to get out of their way, get off the roadway, put their bike up on the sidewalk if there is one. In that area, of course, it narrows down, so there's no sidewalk. There's a dirt trail that's kind of up the hill a ways. So, are you supposed to carry your bike up there to ride? But there's Sharrows markings, but the Sharrows markings, you can see them if you're riding a bike going up a hill like 5 miles an hour or something like that. But if you're in a car and you've approached this hilltop, most people driving up that hill are trying to jockey for position. The guy in the inside lane wants to get around the person in the outside lane. So they're going like 45, 50 miles an hour up this hill. And then it narrows down, and then it, to 1 lane, and then it narrows down to where the bike lane goes away. And I had a potential accident. Fortunately, I was driving, but I was coming westbound, and a big vehicle came over opposing me because they suddenly had to get out of the way of a cyclist. And rather than overtaking and plowing him down, they came over into my lane, and I slammed on my brakes, and he was able to get back into his lane and clear the cyclist. But it's really a bad situation, and It's not on any agenda because it's not high injury network, and it's not, you know, in one of these urban areas where they're trying to make streets livable and so forth. This is primarily, it's a back road commuting route for motorists to get to the freeway from further east in the valley. There's back streets that they take, and then they come down Mulholland. And then for cyclists, it's primarily a route that's used on Saturdays and Sundays for recreation. It's, you know, there's some great places to ride up in the hills. And then there's bike lane down Mulholland Valley Circle. It goes out to Roscoe, and you know, you can do a big loop around the West Valley on bike lanes. But this one little stretch is really a problem.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go back to Jeff with these photos. I will send them to you as well. And you know, see what more can be done. Somebody on one of the other agenda items mentioned putting turtles. Like it was Taylor mentioned putting turtles. And I'm thinking that the Sharrows markings need something like that. They need to be more vivid. The photo that I took from the vantage point of a car going up the hill, the hill is so steep that the Sharrows marking is not really visible as such. You can see that there's something painted the roadway, but you can't see what it is until you're right on it. And if there's another car ahead of you, you're not going to see it anyway. And then those little signs that are off to the side of the road, they're, like I said, one of them is kind of blocked. So it's not real effective.
Well, you were able to get some modest improvements made, so that's,
yeah. At least I got somebody out there.
Progress. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All right.
a challenging road. It kind of serves as a collector road for quite a good number of communities that feed into it, that they then take that, as you say, down to the freeway in the valley, lower area there.
Right.
Another possible mitigation might be if the speed limit could be lowered right there. I don't know if that's feasible or not, but it seems like the conditions change, and so
Sure.
it would warrant that.
Yeah, and now that we have the potential to do that, to change speed limits in some direction other than up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you might want to put this on your next subcommittee meeting, go into more detail.
Yeah.
So I see Tyler has hand raised.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, but do we have any more voting items tonight? I have an early morning, and I just wanted to check in. I don't want to break quorum if I have to drop off.
We have 3 council files. If we aren't able to do them this time, we'll carry them forward to next time.
Curtis can vote if Tyler leaves.
Right.
I believe Curtis dropped off.
What, Curtis left?
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so we are at 10, so yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Tyler, if you have to leave the meeting, we'll carry these items.
I can stick around for a little bit longer. I just wanted to touch base.
I appreciate you doing that. Thank you.
Are the council files are there actions on those, Glenn?
Yes. Yeah. So let's try to get down to that quickly. Are you finished with your report?
Yes.
On this item? Okay. Okay. The other items, starting with number 18, if Eli sent a report, which he usually does, I'll forward that. He usually copies a couple of you, so if any of you were home to see your emails, you could let us know. But okay, so then we've already done number 19, so that does take us to the council files. So on the agenda, so I checked the status of all the others that are pending. Some of these I think are relevant for the Advocacy and Education Committee to consider. But the last 3, are the new ones, and 2 of those we have a letter, but I do want to start with the 21, 12, 22, and I should be able to, hold on, hopefully I can share my screen on that, because I have the motion ready to go.
Glenn, I can do it. I've got it up.
You have the city council motion?
Is that it?
Hold on, I'm on my share screen, so hold on. Yeah, if you'll click on, if you'll click on the very bottom where it says motion referred, click on the PDF icon. To the right, no, to the right.
Bottom.
Yeah, right there.
The Slow
Okay.
Streets program was established in May 2020 as a COVID emergency response measure. That one?
No. This is, we should do 21, 12, 22. It's the, I'm sorry. My fault. You did. I said, the first one is 21, 1115. The first new, right, that one, right.
Community impact statement or the motion referred to Public Safety Committee?
The motion, yes.
Bicycle theft?
Correct, thank you. So this is pretty straightforward, and I think, maybe a quick action item. It talks about the bicycle theft being a problem, blah, blah, blah. That Long Beach has adopted an ordinance prohibiting bicycle chop shops. And so this motion, the effective part of this motion is city attorney be requested to prepare and present a draft ordinance to prohibit the assembly, disassembly, sale, offer of sale, distribution of bicycles and bicycle parts on public property or within the public right of way, modeled after a similar ordinance in the city of Long Beach. And that is a motion that's still pending in committee and city council. And if there's a motion to support this motion, I think that would be great. Tyler, I see your hand up. I don't know if that's up from before.
I'm sorry, that was from before.
Okay, sorry. All right. Does someone want to make a motion on this motion regarding this matter? All right. Karen moves. There a second?
I'll second it, Taylor.
Taylor, thank you. I think it's pretty straightforward. Is there any discussion or public comment? Raise your hands. Okay, I'm not seeing any, so if we could maybe take a vote on this, please. All those in favor, raise your hand, say aye, and keep your hands up. So 1, and okay, I'll wait till everything stops moving. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's unanimous, passes 10-0-0. Okay, now the next one is 21, 12, 22. Sorry about that, Taylor.
So who's going to send these letters to whom?
Well, we have 2 letters so this one I guess I'll need to do, but the other 2, Michael had drafted a letter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, all right.
So this is the city council motion. Maybe you, yeah.
Want me to read it?
Just the bottom part, I therefore move.
I therefore move that the City Council direct the Los Angeles Department of Transportation to report with the proposed permanent slow streets program that includes the following. An application process open to all interested and eligible community sponsors, criteria for identifying priority neighborhoods, a toolkit of available slow streets treatments, including but not limited to signage, gateway elements, many traffic circles, turn restrictions, and traffic diverters. An approval process consistent with AB 773, including required findings and community engagement process, a process for coordinating community requested slow streets locations with existing city plans and programs that aim to increase neighborhood connection, including the Mobility Plan 2035's Neighborhood Network, the LA DOT Stress-Free Streets Program, and other planned active transportation projects. Staff and budget needs to implement the programs, and a transportation plan for existing program participants, including the status of each installation.
Okay, now if you could click on the agenda where it says letter, BAC letter for this item, that would be appreciated. Need to go back to the agenda, our agenda.
Oh, sorry. BAC letter.
Yep. Okay, so this is pretty short, but this is based on that motion that Taylor just read. We enthusiastically support the city making slow streets permanent. In addition, we encourage the city to budget additional money towards expanding the program, both to areas that don't yet have slow streets and to areas that wish to expand existing slow streets. Ultimately, we believe a citywide network of slow streets can serve the LA's neighborhood enhanced network as defined on our mobility plan to 2035, expanding opportunities for those who wish to walk, run, bike, or scoot around town. So would someone like to make a motion? Taylor.
I would
Moves?
make the motion, yes.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Taylor, seconded by Kent. Any questions, comments, or public comment? Raise your hands, please. No, I'm not seeing any. Can we take, oh, sorry. Philip, sorry.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Yes, I'm in Rampart Village, and we tried to make proposals for slow streets, but in order to do it, you had to have, I think it was like 11 intersections or something like that. And we didn't have enough, stakeholder participation to do more than a few. And so we were never able to do it. And then they, after a short period, they said, oh, we've got too many applications. We're not taking any more. And so I would want that the program be, in other words, not just made available to additional slow streets, but that the criteria for nominating slow streets be changed to not require that an entity have 11 different intersections to be proposed.
Okay, so consideration for reducing the number of intersections. Does that make sense, Taylor and Ken as maker and seconder? That we
Yes.
incorporate that? Okay.
Yes.
By the way, Philip, what council district are you in?
I'm in CD 13.
Okay.
I'm proposing that maybe he'll join us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
All right. So
acceptable to
sorry,
me.
I just all right. So do we have any other public comment or board member comment? If there's no objection to incorporating that suggestion of possibly lowering the threshold for the number of intersections, we can include that. And Taylor, if you could make sure that that gets transmitted to Michael.
Would that be in the letter or in the actual document?
I think it has to be in the letter because it's what we're communicating.
Yeah.
And what are we going to say? Are we going to say 5 blocks or?
We're not going to, I don't think we should specify a number. Just ask them to consider the lowering the threshold number.
Okay.
And
Got it.
that yet it'll be worked out and people like Philip can weigh in and, make their case.
I will pass that on.
Okay. That's my recommendation anyway. Just to move things along. All right, so I think we're ready to vote. Hold on, hold on, I just need to get a clean slate. Okay.
Hey, Glenn, I'm sorry. Can you one more time give me the wording that you used to take away the 11 block? What I'm struggling to get the wording back in my mind.
Lower the threshold.
Thank you.
For the number of required number of intersections.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Kent's got it for the official record. This one probably won't go out as quickly as the others because they've been, they'll have to be modified. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, that's unanimous, 10-0-0. Okay. Tyler, you up for one more?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so the last council file is the 21-12-23 speed limit reduction one. So we have a council motion and we have a proposed, a position in a letter. And can we, okay. Did everyone look at the council file? Does anyone want to look at the council file motion? Otherwise, we're looking at the letter, okay? I don't see or hear anyone jumping up and down. So let's go ahead and take the wording from the letter. Go ahead. You want me to read it?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Cars traveling at high. So this is regarding supporting council files 21-1223. Cars traveling at high rates of speed are a risk to everyone, and especially to vulnerable road users outside of the car that are trying to get around on foot, by bike, or on scooter. In the last couple of decades, our city has suffered from, quote, speed creep, unquote, where we keep raising speed limits on major corridors to be able to enforce them under the perverted logic of the 85th percentile rule. With the passage of Assembly Bill 43, the city of Los Angeles no longer has to choose between enforcing the speed limit and keeping the speed limit reasonable for both people driving and vulnerable road users outside. We enthusiastically support the city of Los Angeles take advantage of this new law and lowering speed limits wherever possible. We also encourage the city to no longer raise speed limits citywide as permitted under the law. I'm wondering about this word outside and vulnerable road users outside. But other than that, let me ask if there's someone who wanted to move this motion to support.
Yeah, I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay, that was Kent and sorry, who's second?
Karen.
Karen, okay.
I agree with deleting the word outside.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so we're going to delete the word outside if there's no objection. Any board member question, comments, or public comment? Raise your hand. Janice. You're muted.
Oh, I'm trying to get to the right
Okay.
thing. It keeps jumping around. I couldn't get there fast enough to say, rather than removing that word outside, I would change that word. It refers back to the first sentence where he says, especially to vulnerable road users outside of the car. So in this case, in the second paragraph, I would say vulnerable road users not within enclosed vehicles. That's what makes them vulnerable, is that they're not encased in steel that's protecting them. So I think that needs to be emphasized, that we do have many road users now and should have more of them in years to come that are not going to be encased in steel.
To me, that's what makes them vulnerable. So
exactly.
It's redundant.
Okay, I'm either the first one needs to say just vulnerable road users, or we can put in Janice's suggested wording. So I think it was Kent and Karen. You made the motion. What do you want?
I'm inclined to just leave it at vulnerable road users. I think that's a pretty clear term that's well understood by the people who will be reading this.
Karen?
I agree with Kent. To me, it's redundant because that's what makes them vulnerable. They are.
Right.
You're not a vulnerable road user if you're inside a car.
And I agree with both of you. So let's just, we'll make that change to just vulnerable road users. It is a standard term in all the conversations that I've heard with the city and with other entities. So, okay, so that'll be the motion before us. I think any other comments? If not, Janice, is your hand back up?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, but we are still going to leave in trying to get around on foot, by bike, or on a scooter, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. We're just keeping in the vulnerable road user and not talk about, inside cars or metal or whatever. Okay. Okay. So if everyone's clear on what we're voting on, let's take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Seeing 9. Yes. Those opposed? Oh, Carino's, okay, that's 10. That's unanimous. It passes. Carino, I assume that was a yes and not a.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. 10-0-0 passed unanimously. So given the hour and the fact that we are wrapping up, if any BAC member or officer reports want to be shared, we can do that by email. Please just email Jennifer and me and we'll share that.
Question in chat. Philip wanted to know who he could send background information for my comment on slow streets.
Maybe Michael, no?
Michael Schneider?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Philip, where are you?
Philip, if you could email me, because I'd like to be part of that conversation as well. I'll put my email in. You probably have it from the neighborhood councils, but I'll put my bicycle one in. Okay. So upcoming meetings, events, and rides, could I ask the same thing? If you have anything upcoming, share that by email. But if you want to say something right now, feel free. I put Ciclavia on just knowing this agenda was going out before it was happening, even though it already did happen. Anyone for the first two, 21, 22? Carino?
I mentioned that I was going to leave, but also I wanted to let everybody know that I'm going to be finally done with my documentary, some sort of propaganda or whatever. But I mentioned some of the board members early on, but I'm hoping that I'll invite you. It's going to have a screening before I leave.
Yay.
So I'm hopefully we'll have it done by January, February. So that's it.
Okay,
Yay.
send us an invitation.
All right.
And have a great trip.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Anyone else?
This Friday, I won't be able to do it, but there's the All City Toy Ride or whatever that I don't have. I was looking for a link, but if you can find it on Facebook, if you want to help donate toys, they do that by bicycle.
Okay, so that would be Friday the 10th.
Friday, December 10th.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So we're ready to adjourn the meeting. Is there any persons anyone wants to adjourn in memory of the bicyclists killed in the city of LA? Janice, is that?
That was actually from before.
Okay, got it.
I just
Okay.
wanted, for my part, to just say welcome to Tyler and Curtis, who's I know already left.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and Tyler, thanks for allowing us to, made a difference there.
Yeah,
Allowing us
thank
to
you.
finish up the agenda.
No
So,
problem.
just in the nick of time. So thank you so much. Okay, so it's 10:13 p.m. and we will adjourn this meeting. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy New Year. Be safe. And we'll see you on February 1st, if not before. We do have subcommittee meetings to be held in January. I know we didn't get back to the appointment to the subcommittees, but I'll do that via email and we'll try to have some dialogue there and see what people's interests are. We just have to update the list. So, okay.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Lynn.
Happy New Year.
Night. Happy New Year. Wow. Woo, 2022.